Now I just want to show you some other possibilities when working with the scatter plot. I could have added details. I could add, for example, state on the details. And now that's going to find the average for every purpose and state in 2011. And so you can see we now have many more observations. All right, I think it was a little bit too much on this particular scatter plot, but there may be other scatter plots where it makes sense to add detail. So I'm going to take that away now. I also wanted to point out that we do have other options for the play axis. We could have, for example, done interest rate on the play axis. I'm going to go to the original interest rate. Here it is. I'm going to get rid of issue year, and I'm going to add interest rate for the play axis. All right, now it actually looks a little better than I expected, but that is a continuous variable, and there were lots of observations for interest rate. And so I think a better option for the play axis, if you wanted to use interest rate, would be the rounded version that we created. So let's find interest rate rounded. Here it is. Let's put that on the play axis. And this one is a little bit easier to read and follow because we're looking now at ranges of interest rates to the nearest hundredth. So you can try to manipulate some of your variables if you want to use them on a play axis. If it's a continuous variable with a really large number of values, you can maybe look at some different ways to manipulate that variable so that it can work on the play axis. I should point out too that you can add size to your bubbles. So let me get to, here we go, one where we can, actually I'm going to just take out the play axis for a second so we can concentrate on the size of the bubbles. For example, maybe you could add interest rate to the size of the bubble. And in this case, do check the summary function. It will have to be a summary function of that interest rate, so some might not be appropriate. Maybe average would be appropriate, although it's not going to show you as much variability. You could look at maybe the minimum or the maximum interest rate. Right, you don't see much variability in the size there either. But that's another option you could play with that might be appropriate with the data that you're looking at. And you could play with color saturation as well.